Uh-oh, Pescadios. Uh-oh, Pescadios. Leave a like on this video right now if you are also uh-oh Pescadiosing for perhaps, I don't know, maybe the worst human alive, the biggest sufferer of TDS on the internet, I would argue, probably maybe ever anywhere. The single largest, collection of TDS that maybe has ever existed in Alec Baldwin. He got indicted on a manslaughter charge, and looks like there will be some jail time for old TDS Alec. Now, many of you might be saying double jeopardy. Well, this is a different charge. And they ended up dropping it before formally charging him. So I don't believe that this would be double jeopardy. In fact, many people are saying they now stand behind Alec Baldwin because that is the safest place to be. Alec Baldwin indicted on new charges as prosecutors once again seek to hold the actor accountable for the on-set passing of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Baldwin, 65, was initially charged in the case in January 2023, but the charges were dropped 3 months later after Baldwin's defense team raised questions about whether his Colt 45 was functioning properly when it fired. Well, it seemed to be functioning pretty good. Hutchins was preparing to film a scene with Baldwin at a ranch. By the way, didn't the bullet go through somebody else too? Wasn't somebody else was also injured in this? I feel like people forget to talk about that. I like when Variety writes the article that the weapon went off. No. He pulled the trigger. And I suspect that the armorer, a complete underskilled diversity hire, is probably going to cooperate with the prosecution because I think the prosecutor there wants to stick the charges on Alec far more than some unknown overweight blue hair. Hutchins was prepping to film a scene. If convicted, he faces up to 18 months in prison. We look forward to our day in court, said Baldwin's attorneys Luke Nikas and Alex Spiro in a statement Friday. Two special prosecutors, Carrie Morrissey and Jason Lewis, sent the weapon for further forensic testing last summer. Their experts reconstructed it, which had been broken during FBI testing. Wait a minute. So was the FBI trying to help out Alec too? Did the FBI try to break this weapon before? Like, oopsie, we broke it. Alec's one of our favorite guys. He's always talking about drumpf. He's always drumpfing. Maybe that they just oopsied. It happens all the time, guys. Important evidence always gets broken in FBI hands. The test concluded that it could have only been fired by the pull of a trigger, just like every weapon. Quote, the fatal incident was the consequence of the hammer being manually retracted to its fully rearward and cocked position at some point by the pull or rearward depression of the trigger, the report concluded. Although Alec Baldwin repeatedly denies pulling the trigger, given the test's findings and observations reported here, the trigger had to have been pulled or depressed sufficiently to release the fully retracted hammer of the evidence revolver. So essentially, Alec Baldwin used I was just cleaning it and it went off defense. I was just cleaning it and it went off. That's what Alec Baldwin said. So they sent it to a testing facility, and that testing facility said, with 100% certainty, that did not happen. The only way that could have ever happened is because he pulled the trigger. And thus he has now been recharged. At the time, Morrissey and Lewis said in October that they intended to take the case to a grand jury within 2 months, stating that additional facts had come to light that pointed towards Baldwin's culpability. At the time, Nika said the decision was unfortunate. It is unfortunate that a terrible tragedy has been turned into a misguided prosecution, his lawyer said. We will answer any charges in court. The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, is also set to go to trial on February 21st on charges of involuntary and tampering with evidence. Gutierrez-Reed mistakenly, maybe, loaded a live bullet into Baldwin's weapon, which was supposed to only contain dummies. It remained unclear how many live rounds became mixed in with dummy rounds on the set. First of all, an armorer, it's literally your job to maintain all of this stuff. Second of all, there should be no live ammo on set anywhere. Third of all, any idiot can tell the difference. Any idiot can tell the difference between a live round and a dummy round. It's very easy. It's very easy to tell the difference. I mean, and this is, again, her job. You know, like, this is her job. If you look at some of these images, you can definitely see one has a projectile in it and the other does not. That's kind of the important difference, is there's a projectile in it and the other one is usually capped. Like this, you can see it's got a green cap, no projectile. Here you have it folded at the top, no projectile. It's very easy visually to determine what a dummy round is. So nobody even looked. Or maybe they looked and they didn't care. Gutierrez-Reed, Hutchinson's widower, Matthew Hutchins, filed a wrongful death lawsuit shortly after it, but reached a settlement, got paid off in October in 2022. The settlement provided for insurance funds and a portion of the film's profits to the benefit of the couple's son, who was 9 years old when his mother passed. The film has since been completed with additional filming in Montana and is awaiting distribution. At the time of the settlement, Matthew Hutchins indicated that he did not blame Baldwin. I have no interest in engaging in recriminations or attribution of blame to the producers or Mr. Baldwin. Well, of course he said that after he got the check. He got the check. So then he said, oh no. Like, no, everything's fine now. Everything's fine now. Sir, your Rolex is ready. No, don't say that. A few months later, however, when Baldwin was first charged with the incident, Hutchins' attorney said that the charges were in fact warranted. Oh, they changed their tune. We support the charges with fully cooperate with the prosecution. You know why they support him? Probably because it looked like the movie wasn't going to come out and he wasn't going to get his payday. And he also fervently hopes the justice system works to protect the public and hold accountability those who break the law. The initial prosecutors, Mary Carmack Altweiss and Andrea Reeb, held Baldwin responsible not only for pulling the trigger, but also for a series of management lapses that led to the relaxed safety standards on set. However, the New Mexico Division of Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, concluded that Baldwin, though he was a producer on the film, was not in a position of management authority, but was not culpable for the lack of oversight. The first assistant director, David Halls, pled no contest last March to a misdemeanor charge. He was given 6 months probation. I mean, ultimately, I think this is the charge that fits. Involuntary. This is the charge that fits. The question is, will he do any prison time? I'll be interested in what people say in the comment section. I think almost certainly not. He will almost certainly not do any prison time. He's not like a reoccurring criminal. There's no indication that it wasn't just a terrible accident. But who knows? Maybe he will. He could probably work on his Donald Trump impersonation while in the clink. You know, I suppose that's one thing he could work on. Now, 18 months in prison, probably, hey, if he does 6 months, cool. Ultimately, I believe if anyone's really to blame here, it's actually Hutchins, right? It's the armorer. It's her job to make sure that those were dummy rounds. It's her job to make sure everything's safe. He was just doing his job. Now, he has TDS, and he's an insufferable piece of garbage, so it's easier to not care. But certainly, if somebody's getting a charge, it has to be Helena Hutchins. It has to be the armorer, for sure. But it'll be interesting to see if he gets any charges. Certainly, I'll be watching that trial, and I look forward to LawTube weighing in on it. Sure would be nice if it got streamed live.